because I think that's going to work. Hopefully that will work. Let's see. I'm just trying to work it now. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some future tenses, and then we're going to work it into the passive. Oh, so I'm going to put that. So it seems to be duplicating my voice there. Okay, so I'm on now, hopefully. So let's start recording the class as well. Let me share the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and have a look at a Word document. So here we are. So hopefully this is working on YouTube. So future tenses. So can anyone think of any time phrases that we use with the future? You know, with the past, we said last night, yesterday, 2 weeks ago, when I was a kid.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's
Next
a good
week.
one, isn't it? Yeah. Tomorrow, next week. I like that. Next week. Let's change this. We don't want this to be so large. Next week. Tomorrow's a good one. Next year.
Next year.
Next day.
Later.
Would I say next day though? Have you ever heard that one?
No.
We don't really say it. We do sometimes say next day delivery, but we wouldn't say I'm going to see my mum next day. You wouldn't say that. You'd say tomorrow, wouldn't you? Later is a good one. I like that. Why does that keep happening? Later. Yep. So later today. Would I say later for next week? I wouldn't use that. Later is normally within the same time
Later
period.
this week.
So let's say that there's a day. If I said I'm going to see my mum later, what would you assume?
The same day.
The same day. Yeah, you wouldn't think it'd be later this week. Okay, so it could be later this week is a good one. So you have to say later this week. Okay, next week, next year, tomorrow, tonight.
Soon.
Soon is a good one. Yeah, I like that. Soon. Straight away is a good one as well. What does straight away mean?
Right now.
Afterwards.
Not right now. It means immediately. So
Yeah,
right now means at this moment, doesn't it? But immediately means after this moment, but as soon as we can. Yeah. So the shortest amount of time between now and the future, that's straight away. In fact, I think that's 2 words. Sorry, straight away. So these help us, but we don't always need them. It's not like the past simple, where you always have to give that timestamp for the past. I don't need it. I can just use the right form of the verb, and people understand that it's the future. How about this? There seems to be some echo somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from, but one day. What do you think that means, one day?
In the future. Something in the future.
In the future. Tomorrow?
Maybe.
Not really. No, it's not. It's more of, this is more
Following
of an
days.
Not really. No, not really. Now, if I say one day next week, if I say one day next week, that's a good one. Okay.
In the
one day
future.
next week, that could be Thursday. But yeah, in the future, what do you mean in the future, Sonia? One day.
Maybe someday.
It's like someday, isn't it? Someday I'll be in the UK. One day I'll be married. Yeah. So it's normally associated with hope.
One day I can do it and pass OAT.
Yeah, one day I'll pass it. Well, actually, we need to be more positive there, Bashir. On the 13th of October, I'm going to pass. Yeah. So we can give dates as well, can't we? Okay. So can anyone give me some examples of the future? What do we use? What kind of words can we use to show that it's the future?
Will.
Will is a good one. I always start with will. Anything else?
Would.
Would. Okay. Would it's more of a hypothetical. I tell you what we'll do. We'll make a note of would down here, but we might not be able to include that in today's class. It's a hypothetical, which we'll talk about maybe tomorrow. Will and shall. Okay, we'll put that one down here as well. Okay.
Will be going to.
Might. Okay, we'll put might down here as well. Yeah, these are all
Going to.
going to. This is where I want to go to. Yeah, going to. And then we've got
Going.
another one as well. How about this? Present continuous. Doesn't that sound strange? Why would we use the present continuous to talk about the future? Surely that's something which is happening now. But as I've said before, the English language is something which is unpredictable, and we use it the way that we want to use it. We don't always think, oh, what tense should I use here? People just use it, and if they use it enough, it sticks and it becomes how we use the language. So present continuous can be used for the future. Also, I want to look at the future perfect. That sounds great, doesn't it? We all want to have a perfect future. And you will have a perfect future if you can learn how to use the future perfect. Okay, so will. Why do we use the future? So can we just go everyone put on mute just for a moment, and I'll choose people. I can just hear a few noises. Okay, so let me choose somebody. Dalia, are you there?
Yes.
Hi,
Yes.
welcome. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So do you ever use the future when you speak?
Yes.
Of course you do. You do it all the time, don't you? Okay, so will. Do you know what the difference is between will and going to? Have you ever considered it?
No, I can't explain it.
It's a strange one, isn't it? If I asked an English person, what's the difference between will and going to? They would not be able to explain the difference. They just give me examples. So I remember when I became an English teacher, one of my first lessons was to teach the future, and I didn't know. I learned some grammar for my course, but it was strange because in this country, we don't really learn grammar at school very much. So will is interesting. Will is generally for intentions. Now, what's an intention? An intention. So if I said to you, one day I will travel to Africa.
Like wishes, like wish.
Yeah, like wishes. Okay, like wishes. There's nothing solid about it, that is there? One day in the future.
Yeah.
There's nothing solid. There's no date. There's no plan. I don't have a ticket. It's an intention. It's something I want to do
Yes.
in the future. Okay, so it's something I want to do. That's an important distinction here, because when we go to going to, the biggest difference is that going to tends to be a plan. Now, a plan is a bit more solid than an intention. So what do you think is the difference between a plan and an intention?
Intention, something maybe I do or not.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
going to, I must do it or.
Must. Well, there's an obligation. Must tells us that it's something that has to happen. I don't think that's the case. But you.
Strongly, I will do. Strongly, I will do this.
Yeah. Okay. So let's think about your plan. Okay. Let's say last week. Let's say last Wednesday, you had a plan, didn't you? Your plan was to go on Friday to the OET meeting.
Yes.
And then you met me, and then you had maybe a slightly different plan. And now the plan became, okay, I'm going to do that training because I am taking the test on this date. So you know when you're taking the test. It's on the 9th of November.
Yes.
Which happens to be my 40th birthday. Okay, so it's a special day. Anyone who takes it on the 9th, it should be a lucky day. So
Advance happy birthday, sir.
yep, thank you very much. Okay, so you are taking the test.
I'm going to, I'm going to take
well,
the test.
no, you're not. It's more solid than that. We're going to use the present continuous. So this is an arrangement. Now, an arrangement is more solid than a plan because now it's booked. There's a reservation. Everyone knows the time and the place.
Yes, and the date.
Okay. So that is completely, I am taking the test. There's no changing. I am taking it. But if you go back to Saturday, maybe you were having a conversation with your family or your friends. Yeah, I think I'm going to do some online training because I am taking the test. So I'm going to.
Yeah.
In your mind, do you think, well, I know the provider, I know how much it costs, and I know when I want to start. So there are details here. So this is, I'm not saying that this is 100% of the time the way people use it. They don't always, because people are unpredictable. Sometimes they might say, oh, I will do this. I will do some online training because I'm going to take my test. Okay, people do that. But as a general rule, we say in English, a rule of thumb. I know that sounds a strange thing to say, but a rule of thumb would be if somebody's temperature is 39 degrees, they've got a fever. Okay, they've probably got an infection of some kind. That's a rule. It's just a general rule. And it's the same with grammar. We have general rules. People sometimes don't stick to them, but we have details and a strong intention to do something. So those are the basic differences. Thanks, Dahlia. If you could put yourself back on mute. So intentions, plans, and arrangements. This is the basics, the foundation of how we use these three forms. So let me choose Raji.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Raji. Now, can you give me a plan? Tell me something that you're going to do.
I'm going to take my OET exam on December 7th.
Okay, have you booked it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a plan. Okay, that's true, but it's also an arrangement, isn't it? So here
Yes.
I am taking
Yeah.
my exam on, what did you say? December
7th.
7th of
7th
December.
of December. Yeah.
Okay, on December 7th or 7th of December. Okay, now that's a good sentence. I'm happy with that. Now, if you say that to me,
Mhm.
it gives me a feeling of certainty that you're
Mhm.
definitely going to do that. There's no
Okay.
movement. Okay, but if you said, I am going to take my test in December,
Mhm.
then Mike, that was my first question to you was, have you booked it? Because I wanted to
Yes.
see how certain
I
it
will
was.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you said something like, I'm going to visit my family next week.
Mhm.
Now, what that makes me think is, yeah, okay, it's more than an intention. Your family know that you're going, but you're not really sure what time, what day, but it's a plan. It's something that you're
Yes.
working with because
Mhm.
you want to go there. So what about a dream? Do you have any dreams
Yes.
or
Yes.
intentions?
Uh, One day I want to work in the UK.
Okay, so one day I will work in the UK. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
One day I
Mhm.
will work in the UK. Okay, now that's a dream. It's an intention. It's good. Now, like so many things, the way you say it,
Mhm.
gives it either a strong feeling or not. One day I will work in the UK.
Mhm.
Okay, it's just an intention still, but it sounds stronger. So here, intentions, plans, and arrangements. Now, thank you very much, Raji. Now,
Thank you,
the
sir.
point that this sometimes gets confused is that sometimes people use will when they mean going to. Sometimes people use going to when they mean will. But there are some other things that we use will and going to for that we don't really confuse. It can sound a bit strange. So let me choose Saji.
Yes, hello,
Hi, Saji.
sir.
Okay, so if
Yeah.
I start going like this,
Mm.
oh, what's the situation? I've just sniffed some pepper. What do
Snake.
you? Yeah,
Oh,
okay. So what's the situation?
silly. With
Paul
pepper.
is, what's going to
Uh,
happen next?
Sneezing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
okay. So
going to
what?
sneeze.
Okay, so going to sneeze. You wouldn't
Yes.
say Paul will sneeze.
No, no, it's
That would
happening
sound
now.
strange. So we would use
Yeah.
going to for an action that's just about to happen,
Yes.
just about to happen. Okay, so that is Paul is going to sneeze, or I am going to sneeze would be that. So
Yes.
I am going to sneeze. Okay. Now we can also use it for predictions. Okay.
Mhm.
So um, let's think of a prediction. So what do you think when the sky is full of clouds?
It's going.
It will be rain.
Yeah. So what's the
It's
sentence?
going to be rain.
The sky.
Oh,
do I-
will.
do I
It's
need-
going to
do I-
rain.
will
It's
be.
going to rain.
To
I wouldn't
rain.
say this is
Yes.
the word rain is something that I hear people make mistakes with a lot. Let's just look at that word very, very quickly, just do some vocabulary. So rain is a type of weather. Okay. Can anyone give me the adjective that we would get from this?
Rainy.
Rainy.
Raining day.
Yeah, it's a rainy day. So rainy day, rainy season. Okay. And if I look out of the window and there's rain in the sky, what would I say?
Raining.
It is
Going
raining.
to
Yeah, it's raining now. Okay, so rain, rainy, and raining. Okay, so I can say it's very rainy. Okay. Can anyone give me a phrase for when there's a lot of rain in the sky and it's all coming down?
It's going to rain heavily, or it's
Okay.
raining
Pouring
heavily.
down.
Yeah, pouring. Yeah, that's the phrase I wanted. Pouring down. Or, let me get that spelling right. It's pouring or pouring down. Because just imagine I had some water in here and I did this. That would be pouring the water. And it's just the same as that. So pouring, pouring down. And then I've also got raining heavily. Yeah. Or I can say, now this is the thing which people get confused about. I can say it's raining heavily, or I can say there is heavy.
Heavy rain.
That's the
Rain.
rain.
it's
Rain.
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 Yeah, because
Yes.
raining is not a noun in this case. Okay, rain is the noun, and heavy is an adjective, so I have to say heavy rain. There's heavy rain. So heavy rain has been forecasted for tomorrow. Okay, so just a few things there about rain. So I wouldn't say
Pouring down is new for
pouring
this
down
rain.
with rain. It's pouring down with rain, I can say, but I wouldn't say it's going to be rain. I can say it's going to be
Yes.
rainy,
Mhm.
but I can't say it's going to be rain. So it is going to rain. It is going to rain. Okay, that's a good prediction. I'm happy with that. So we've got a few different functions here for it. So an action that is just about to happen is a good one. Now, will. Now, let's just say, Benitha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Benitha.
Hi,
Let's
sir.
just say that you were walking down the street. Now, do you do the shopping for your house?
Yes.
Do you go down to
Yes,
the
sir.
market and get groceries?
Yes, sir.
Do you enjoy doing that?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
love doing that.
Yeah.
I love, picking up an aubergine, tapping it, feeling the onions. I really like smelling the vegetables. I really like doing that. I love going to the market. Okay, so when you go to the market, do you always get a little bit, or do you ever get a really big amount?
Little bit.
Just little bit. So do you go every
Uh,
day?
Not every day because I am alone, no?
I see. Okay, so
So,
you don't need to have a lot of. You don't need to buy a
yeah,
lot of
that's
shopping.
it.
Okay, well, just imagine you've got a family of 10 children.
Yeah.
How many bags of shopping would that be?
We'll do more.
Not more,
Maybe
a lot, a lot,
a lot.
a lot. Yeah, and maybe there might be 20 bags of shopping there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I saw you in the street with 20 bags of shopping,
Mm.
do you think I'd help?
Yes.
Of course I would.
You will help.
I'm a very generous person. Even if I was in a rush, I'm sure I would help. Okay, so what would I say to you? Yeah, if I came up to you, would I say, "Hi, I'm going
I,
to help"?
I
Would
will
I?
help you.
I will help. Okay, that's a strange thing, isn't it? Why won't I say going to? Okay, it's a bit different because it's an offer.
Yeah.
It's an offer. Okay, so I would say something like, I'll help with that. We normally would put it together. This is called a contraction. I'll help with that. It's not very often that you would say, I will help with that, because it's sort of, it's a stress on the word that we don't need, but I'll help with that. Or I'll give you a hand with your homework. Or I'll come. Yeah, it's an offer. or a suggestion. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so even though it seems really simple at first, we've got this intentions, plans, and we've got arrangements. It can get quite, it can be quite easy to not sound natural with those things. So I think what we'll do tomorrow is I'll make a few dialogues, and we'll do a bit of a test, and we'll all work together in the breakout rooms, and we'll go through this. So what I want is I want everyone to look at this, practice it, and come back for the test tomorrow. What I want to move on to now is I want to look at the future perfect. So can you put your microphone on mute, please? Benita, I can just hear some noise. Thank you. So will, going to, and present continuous. Now we're looking at the future perfect. Now, just remind me again, who just came into class? Joshna. Hello, Joshna.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Joshna. If you
Hi,
come
sir.
in late, I always ask a question. Okay. Okay. Just imagine in a classroom, I can see you, Joshna, trying to hide. Okay. So future perfect. That's a strange concept. Not many people know it. Again, if I said this to an English person, they would say, "What do you mean?" I don't know what that means. So do you remember yesterday we talked about past perfect? And
Yes, sir.
and I mentioned what the word perfect meant. Can you remember what it means?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean in grammar?
The action which has happened already in the before past.
Yeah, that's the word, before. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect means before. So if it's present perfect, what is it before?
Before the present.
It's before the present. And if it's past perfect?
Before the past.
It's before the past. So that means that the future perfect is?
Before the future.
Before the future. And that's really strange, isn't it? Because you think, well, what's before the future? That's the present, that's before the future. But it's not like that. You know, humans are complicated, aren't they? So we want to describe lots of strange things. Now, this is how it's going to work. Now, when we do the present perfect, Joshna, how do we make the present perfect? We make it with has or have plus the past participle.
Yes, sir.
Or verb 3.
So V3.
Yeah. And how do we make the past perfect?
Had
Plus the past participle. Okay, so when we make the future perfect, what do you think will be in the future perfect?
Will.
Yeah.
Plus past participle.
Be.
Nope.
Be verb.
Nope.
Have.
ing.
Plus the past participle. Okay, so will have plus the past participle. So that's the form of it. Now, what do we use the future perfect for? Maybe you guys might not understand that at the moment, but I'll explain it. Actually, you know what? I'll give you an example first, and then you can tell me what you think it means. Okay, so the bridge will have been built. Actually, no, sorry, let's do it another way. We won't use the passive. Let's put, I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. So let's just analyze that. Is that an active or a passive sentence?
Passive.
Active.
It's actually active. Yeah, we've
Active,
got the
active.
subject, I, and then the active verb. Even though it's in the future perfect, it's still active. So I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. So my question is, let me ask, Mary, are you there?
Hello, sir.
Hi, Mary. Okay, so
Hi, sir.
your party begins at 9 o'clock at your house. Will I be
Yeah.
able to go to your party?
Yes.
Okay, why?
You will have.
Finished?
Attended
Well,
my
no.
part.
Well, no. Let's not get confused about that. Your party's at 9
Okay.
p.m., isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, your party's at 9 p.m. And I'm now at my house. Okay, let's just say, let's put it all in black and white. Okay, so now it is what time? It's 11 o'clock. Okay. Mary's party is at 9. Okay. Now, I said to my mum, can I go to Mary's party? And she said, only if you finish your homework. Okay, so I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. So that gives me 9 hours to do my homework between 11 and 8 p.m. If I say I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m., does that mean I can go to the party or I can't go to the party?
Yes, you can go to
I
party.
can go to the party. Okay, but why?
Yes, you can go to
Why can I go to the
because
party?
because you're able to finish your homework by 8 p.m.
Yeah, before the
before the
party
party.
begins. Okay, that's great. And it takes 40 minutes to get to your house as well. Okay, so that's good. So when did I finish my homework?
By 8 p.m.
Hmm.
before my party.
So did I finish? So I'm doing my homework and then I go finished at 8 p.m.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, Mary. That's not quite right.
Chances to finish before 8 p.m.
Say that again, Raji.
There are some chances to finish your homework before 8 p.m.
Well, it's not some chances. All it means, if I say I will have finished my homework by 8, all that means is I'm giving an absolute latest time. And in between now and 8, there are 9 hours. I could do it at 4 o'clock. It could be finished at 1 o'clock. I could do it right away at 11 and say, I'll have my finish. I will have finished my homework by 8. That's when I'm going to get picked up. So that will be ready at that time. It just means at any time before a point in the future. And that's why it's future perfect. It's before a future point. So, so an event which happens before a future point. Okay, so I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. That's in the future. 8 p.m. is in the future. So at some point between now and then, my homework will be finished by me. Okay, so let's think of, now I know Bashir,
Hi.
you are taking your test on October the 13th.
Yes.
Okay, what time does it begin, the test?
10.
Okay, and what time does it finish?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, who's done the OET test before?
Sorry.
I'm just asking now, has anybody done the OET test before?
Myself.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take?
4
For
hours,
the
3 hours.
In the beginning, 3 hours.
Okay,
After that, for the speaking, it depends.
Yeah.
okay, you had to wait.
Yeah. The speaking.
Yes.
The speaking at 2 o'clock. Yes. Yes. They send me a letter.
I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
that sounds like it's going to be about 4.5 hours long.
Yes.
Okay, so if it starts at 10 and it's 4.5 hours long, give me a future perfect sentence, Bashir. I
will have finished my exam.
Exam. Okay, you choose the vocabulary.
By 2 o'clock afternoon.
Well, let's say. Well, I think your speaking test starts at 2, so let's say 2:30.
2:30.
Okay, I will have finished my exam by 2:30. That's the future perfect.
Yeah.
That's not the same as I will finish my exam at 2:30. That's different. It can be the same here, but we use this for when we're having looser arrangements with people or when there's a deadline for something. So if I said to you, let's meet Bashir, let's have a coffee at 3 o'clock, you'd say, oh, that's okay. I will have finished my exam by 2:30.
Yes.
Okay. Or you could say, I will finish my exam at 2:30. So that's fine. But you choose. You can choose to do it. And again, why are we
Yes.
doing this grammar? We're doing this grammar so we can have greater flexibility. And so just imagine this happens. Just imagine the question in listening part C was something like, the new hospital wing will be built, well, will be finished. Yeah, sorry, will be built in December. Okay, let's just say it's something like that. That's one of the answers. But in the lecture, it says the new facilities will have been finished by December. Now, just imagine it says this in the listening, and this is the answer that you think it is. Well, you'd be wrong, because if it's finished by December, that means it's before December that the building is made, not in December. So having this grammatical flexibility is not just good for writing and speaking. It's also good for reading and listening. It underpins our understanding of the language that's being used in those test materials. So it's really, really good. Now, what we should also do today is try and get the passive into here. So let me ask Sonia.
Yes, sir.
Can a bridge build itself, Sonia?
No, sir.
A bridge can't build itself. So we would always use the passive, wouldn't we, when we talk about the building of a bridge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you give me, okay, I'm going to give you a few different dates. Okay, so bridge build now. And we've got bridge built 1970. And then we'll have bridge built 2025. And then I just want you to use those. Okay, so we've got past, present, and future.
Future.
Okay, so let's give me your sentence about the first one.
Passive, sir.
Yep.
The bridge had built.
Are you sure had?
Was.
Has built.
This is interesting. We have to make the choice. When we see some information like this, we have to make the choice. We can't just follow what. Yeah, we can't just follow what I've been teaching today. You have to look at that and say 1970, that's a time in the past.
Yes.
The bridge was built
Was built in
1970.
1970.
Yeah, that's the point of us learning this grammar, so we can use it without me saying this is definitely going to be the past simple. Okay, now, if it's now, what tense do you think you should use, Sonia?
Present.
Present.
Continuous.
Yeah, it's
Present
happening now, isn't it?
Yes.
So what would you say, Sonia, if it's happening now? The bridge?
The bridge
Is
building
being
being built.
Yeah.
Now.
Being built now.
Yeah, so the bridge is being, so what's happening with the bridge? Oh, the bridge is being built now. You can see it over there. Okay, so what about if it's in 2025, Sonia? Okay, in 2025. Now, this is not going to be the perfect, okay? It's just the simple. So the bridge
Will be built. Will be
The
built.
bridge has
okay, the bridge will, because it's in the
will
future,
build. Okay.
Will
Will
be
be
Or-
built.
or is going to be, could be a plan. Yeah, it's going to be.
be built in 2025.
Excellent. Okay, now, this is where the real challenge comes in, Sonia. Okay, now I want future perfect because it's going to be before 2025. So just do you want to have a quick look again? Future perfect. And it's in the passive. Now this is where it becomes tricky. So if we remember, if I show you in the present perfect, I have been seen by a doctor. The car has been washed. Okay, this is the passive in the present perfect. We've got have. Been is the past participle of the verb to be, and then we've got the past participle of the verb to see. So in the future perfect, we're going to put, if you remember, we're going to have to put will have.
Past
Okay.
participle.
Then there's a past participle, yeah. So we're going to put past participle here. So Paul will have finished, but the passive is like this, isn't it? Oops. Be
Will.
plus the
Be.
past participle. So what's the past participle of the verb to be?
Been.
It's
Been.
been. It's been, isn't it? Okay, so just follow
Will
me.
have-
Will have
Will have been built.
been built.
Yeah, will have
But-
been built. So we can
but-
see, if I show you the colors again, let's put this one in red. And let's put this one in blue. What happens in the middle? It goes purple. Okay, that's a combination of the two. So it will have been built. That's how we make it. Okay, so give me the sentence, Sonia.
The bridge will have been built in 2025.
By.
It's not in. Okay, when it's in, that's a definite time. But when it's
By.
before, we use
By
by.
2025.
Exactly, yeah. Sonia, very well done. That was a really tricky set of questions I gave to you there.
Yes, sir.
But this is where we need to go, though. Let's learn the grammar, practice the grammar, and then test ourselves with it. Let's take some information and think to yourself, how would I express that? What would I say about that? What if I want to say it's going to be done before that time? I don't want to say it's going to be done at that time or now. I want to say it's going to be done in this time in between. That's tricky. How do I put that in the passive and not just in the active? Well, this is how we do it. Okay, so let's think about what we've done this week. We've basically put the passive in every tense. We've learned a few tenses that maybe we've never used before, but we know it must exist. We just haven't said it. And what happens, I know from learning French, you start with simple things like, I am happy, I am sad. It is raining. Oh, that's happening now. Yesterday, I went to the cinema. Okay, you start to talk about the past. Tomorrow, I'm going to do this. You start to talk about the future. And then you start to find that there are spaces in between those places that you're trying to express. No, it happened in the past, but it affects the present, or it's going to happen sometime between now and then. And this is where you start to fill those gaps in by doing this kind of work. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some dialogues, and I promise they're going to be really difficult. And but you won't be on your own. You're going to do it as a group. Okay, I'll put you in groups of 2 or 3, and you can work together and discuss the answers. And by discussing it, you really get to understand how they work. Okay, so does anyone have any questions right now about any of these future tenses? Because I know right now it probably feels clear. You probably understand it. But are there any parts of this which you'd like me to just go over again next 5 minutes? Or should I have a look at these words here? Let's
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, ask me a question.
Yeah, this you can explain me, sir.
These
Would,
ones
shall, and might.
would.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I tell you what. what will we really 5 minutes is not enough, but would. Let's have a look at it. So there are things in English called modal verbs. Okay,
Yes, sir.
modal verbs. Now you know them. I can fly. It's not I fly. It's I can fly. That means I've got the ability to fly. It could be you must not smoke here. Okay. Putting
Yes, sir.
must not is changing. It's not you smoke here. It's changing it completely. I seem to have just done a big paste there. Okay, I didn't want to do that. So you must not smoke here. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm putting a modal verb in, and modal means to change, to modify. Okay, so you're modifying the verb that follows it. So I'm changing smoke. Now, I would go to your party, but I have other plans. Okay, I would, when we find it in conditional sentences, I would give my money away if I won the lottery. Okay, now my question to you is, how real, so this is to Joshna, how
Yes, sir.
real is this? How real is it compared to I give my money away? So which one is something that actually happens?
I give my money away.
Yeah. What tense is that?
Present.
It's the present simple, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It's the present simple. We use that for facts, things that are solid, things we can trust. I give my money away. That means that I do this.
Yes, sir.
I don't. I'm sorry, Josh. No, I wish I did, but I don't. Okay. So I would give my money away if I had more. Maybe. I'm not. I like to think I would. So I would is what we would call hypothetical. Now I know that
Yes.
seems like a really complicated word, but hypothetical basically means an unreal situation in your mind.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's something that maybe could happen. It
Maybe.
might happen. I can't
Yes.
control it. It's in an imaginary future.
Yes, sir.
So if you said to me, I would go to the UK if I passed my test, I would say, what do you mean you would go? You will go when you pass your test. Let's make it more solid. If you say I
Yes.
would go, you're basically giving me the feeling that you don't
Doubt.
think it's very likely.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello,
I have a
Sonia?
question.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. How about this phrase like, it would be greatly appreciated if you could. Is that
Yeah,
ideal for the writing
yeah,
to put
yeah.
in the
This is good. Yeah, yeah.
letter?
This is. Where would you put this in your OET letter, Sonia?
In the last
Great
part, sir.
Right at the last part. Okay, so let's just think about it again. Sorry, it would be greatly appreciated. Not it would greatly. Yeah. So it would be greatly appreciated if you could. Now, does that sound polite to you?
Yes, sir. But as I learned today, it's not a solid that it's not 100% true that I will appreciate if you could do that
Yeah,
one.
it's true. You know, we've got these things. They're called conventions. It's just normal to put this in a letter where you're requesting something. Okay.
Okay, so it still sounds polite, sir.
It's polite, yeah, but something that you need to understand. I'm sure it's the same in every language. There are some things which appear polite, but really, I'm just
It's not.
saying you need to do this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's not, I'm referring someone. It's not like you can say, oh, I don't want this person. If I say
Okay,
it would
sir.
be, if I'm saying it would be greatly appreciated if you could, I am assuming that you are going to do this for me, but I'm being polite about it. I'm just for appearances, I'm making it look like you've got a choice.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
But can you give a suggestion which is better, or this is fine also to write in the letter?
Well, you could put your help. Your help is greatly appreciated. Now that's assuming even more. So if you look at it, it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, it's imaginary. It's an imaginary hypothetical. Your help is greatly appreciated. That's making it even more real. So you are definitely helping me. You've already started helping me. If I say your help is greatly appreciated in this matter.
Okay, sir.
That's another way to put it as well. You don't have to use that, but it would be greatly appreciated. It's just a very normal thing to finish a letter where you're requesting something.
Sir, somebody is telling nowadays this one not allowed in OET writing like that.
I know, but you know what's interesting? We went to meet Rebecca Bush. I've met her twice in the last week,
Yes.
and we said to her, people are saying that you can't say I'm writing in regard to, or I'm writing to refer, or it would be greatly. And she said, I don't know where people get these things from. If it works, it's good. The thing that's not tolerated by OET is just learning chunks of text. And you know, like you've seen lots of times IELTS sample letters, sample essays. All you do is you take the word traffic infrastructure and put politics into the gap. One of them, the main reasons for this is this, but there's a line somewhere between using language that you know works and just copying language from somewhere else and changing a word or two. That's what they don't want. They want to see, can you create your own unique sentences? Of course, there are going to be some conventional types of sentences that you use. Don't worry about it, Benita. As you've got 200 words there. It would be greatly appreciated if you could assist in this matter. Is what, 10, 15 words? If all of your text feels like that, then you'll get marked down for it. But if the rest of your text is filled with unique sentences that are clearly from your head, then you'll be fine. Yeah. There's no point reinventing the wheel. That's what we say.
Yes.
How about, sir, I also heard that transitional words like additionally, consecutively is not advisable.
You wouldn't use consecutively because you're not describing a process like that. You're not going to do that. So that's not a word that you'd use in this situation. But additionally is fine. But we don't want furthermore or moreover. Yeah, or I mean, even therefore is okay, but furthermore and moreover are academic ways of saying, and another point that I want to make, but you're not doing that in your OET letter. Okay, anyway, I've got to go. Alan is about to begin his class, so he's going to do an OET writing class now, and by the looks of what he posted in the speaking group, it looks really interesting. Okay, so goodbye. I'll see you all soon.
Bye.
And
Bye, sir.
don't forget tomorrow for the test.